الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Ali, you'll have to read from 105 to 107. So, do you remember in the morning we said that there are 4 conditions? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So he's done the fara'id. We've done the obligations of prayer. Now, you know what should have come first? Now comes the conditions. Yeah? But that's what we're dealing with. We stick with the text, actually.
So it's fara'id and then conditions.
Yeah.
Okay.
105, 6 and 7.
So 105 is, its conditions are facing the Qibla, being clean of filth, covering up the private parts, and purification from an impure state. 106 is, all these conditions are necessary only when remembered and when one is capable, other than in the last condition, i.e. purification from an impure state, which must be fulfilled in all cases. As for the various judgments applicable in the case of someone who forgets or who is incapable, they are many in number. And finally 107, it is preferable in these 2 cases that the salat is repeated when within the time. Similarly, whenever one is mistaken in the direction of the Qibla, but not in the case of incapacity with respect to the Qibla, or when failing to cover one's private parts.
Okay. Now, 4 conditions of prayer. And if you remember when we began this morning, the conditions are outside of prayer, while the obligations are inside of prayer. So, for the prayer to be valid, these 4 conditions must be met. Yeah? So the first of them is the Qibla. Now, I don't need to tell you what the Qibla is. What we need to do is, what do we mean when, Qibla is a condition of prayer? Is if you're in Mecca, you must get the Kaaba bang on. You must see it. Now, that's what the books say. All of our texts say that when you're in Mecca, you must get it bang on. Even if you've got to stand on the roof to make sure that you get it bang on. In practicality now, and this is Sheikh Abdul Hamid al-Mubarak from Saudi now, he's in Saudi, he says it's impractical. He says in Mecca is impractical to get it bang on, because the way the Saudis have built the whole thing, you just can't get it bang on. Yeah? I disagree with the Sheikh. This is yeah. The apps are amazing. You can get it bang on. But in Mecca, you have to get it bang on. Now, when you're outside of Mecca, it's literally the ripple effect. When you throw a stone, the ripples go outward. So we just need to get the general direction, not of the Kaaba, of Mecca. That's what we need to do. So from this country is literally southeast. Yeah? If you haven't got one of these, all you need to do is look at the wall of majority of houses have satellite dishes. All the satellite dishes from this country face southeast. Yes.
Allah.
Yeah. So if you can't work out, which way it is, yeah, because there's actually if you join the Boy Scouts or whatever, they'll tell you, you can actually even there are courses to work out which direction that you can. They'll teach you. How the sun strikes, the shadows on the tree trunks or on. You can work them out even on normal watches. You can get it southeast. It's not difficult. But all we need to do is get the general direction. Yeah. Now in prayer, you need to get the general direction. Your chest must be facing general direction of Makkah. Yeah. Now, as long as you do not, what's it called? 24 degree. When you turn your back to what's it called? 180 degree. Your prayer will be fine. As long as you do not turn your back to the Kaaba, to Mecca, you're okay. So if you move sideways a bit, that way, as long as your back is not turned. Yeah? The most important point, from a practical point of view, practical purposes in this country, all the mosques, have the mihrab. We got phone apps. It's not a problem, to get the general direction. We need to understand one thing, which is the most important point for prayer, is that the ayah says face. Yeah? Wajha shatr al-masjid al-haram. Now, face. So when God asks us to face the direction of the mosque, does not mean looking down. Yeah? God says face. Yeah.
But what if you're used to looking down, and when you look up...
Well, get used to...
One moment.
Get used to looking.
But then when you look straight, until you're in a row or people are walking, you get distracted, isn't it better for you to look down? If you're
the thing is that the mashhur, the well-known opinion of the school is the ayah, God instructs us.
So the face must look, but can your eyes look down without bending your
No,
head?
I'll come to that in a minute.
Oh yeah.
No, I'll come to it. Right? Now, God tells us to face, and that's what the school takes. God's instruction, because God is commanding us to face. Yeah? Look at the direction of the mosque. Now, by that we mean that your head, your back, muscles of the back of your neck, they must not, don't. If you move them down, if you move your neck down, what happens? Move your neck down. Now, can you feel the stretch? Now, the whole thing is in prayer is to be occupied with God. If your muscles are stretching, unless you shouldn't, nothing should take your attention away from being occupied with God. So when you look down, there shouldn't be any stretch. There is an opinion within the school which is qadiyat. He does permit you to look down, but that does not mean that your head is bowed down.
Okay.
It means look down. Even that with qadiyat. Yeah? Qadiyat is not telling you to bow your head down. It means you can look down. Because that's the understanding of the fuqaha who explain this point. Because the position of the school is you look straight. Yeah? Now qadiyat gives you the option to look down, not bow your head down. Do you see the slide? Yeah?
And you cannot close your eyes for the concentration.
We'll come to that right at the end, inshallah. Only momentarily. Not like, the Buddhists or Christian or even the Sufis, when they do their dhikr, they close their eyes. For prayer, no. Because God says, look. So when God says, look, how can you look? Yeah?
So Sheikh, best opinion is to keep your head
No,
straight.
you look straight.
You just look straight.
It's like literally you're in front of the Kaaba. So you're in front of the Kaaba now, and you're looking down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just doesn't make sense. Yeah? So you look straight.
It's kind of different than when you're in front of the camera.
No, but the thing is...
To when you're here.
No.
I'm saying you don't have the concentration issue that you want to look down. Because you're looking at the camera, it's amazing.
No, but it's just a mindset. It's literally a mindset. You'll get used to it. You know, when you begin, it is, you know, when most of your life you've looked down, you're not used to it. Yeah? But when you get used to just looking straight ahead and literally not concentrating on anyone but God.
So, you know, for that thing, looking straight ahead, and I've heard all of these things that make it a little bit easier. So, visualize the Kaaba or visualize the word of Allah. All of these things.
Don't visualize anything.
Just look straight.
Look straight. Because God doesn't ask you to visualize. He asks you to look straight. Yeah? So whatever you visualize, yeah, you'll start concentrating on that. Yeah, but the whole thing is to occupy yourself with God. So how do you occupy? Your eyes don't occupy, your mind occupies. So if you can get your mind to occupy yourself with God, you'll be okay. Yes?
Because beyond the bounds of fiqh, like why do we face towards the Kaaba?
Because that's the direction of prayer.
Sure, but if we're praying to God,
yes,
why are we praying to a single direction?
Because we have a single deity, so that's why we face a single direction.
I think to do something with discipline.
Pardon?
It's an opinion. I think it might be something to do with disciplining the soul, that you're
focusing on
one point.
One point is you know that there are spiritual exercises that you do choose a point and you focus on that. That's totally different to facing the Qibla.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Qibla is that with Imam Mazari in his commentary on Sahih Muslim, he talks about that the mushrikeen of Mecca, they would when they would pray, they would turn themselves to their idols. Yeah, they would turn literally to every direction that their idol was. They would turn themselves to that, and then they knew that God, Allah, was above.
So what's the difference between us?
No, with us is we do not turn towards any direction to face God. We do not turn towards any direction to face God. We turn towards that direction because that's the direction of prayer. That's the focus, that's the Qibla for prayer. The Qibla for dua is the heavens. Yeah? God is, we don't turn towards any direction to turn towards God. do you... Yeah? You see, it's literally, that's the Qibla for prayer. The Qibla for dua, this is Imam Mazari, is the heavens. That's why, we turn our hands upwards. We don't, turn them towards the Qibla. Yeah? We turn ourselves towards, that's literally the Qibla for prayer. There's no other reason than that. Allah knows best.
Does this have anything to do with the historical context of us switching from Masjid al-Aqsa to the Kaaba? Did that have anything to do with it?
Do with what?
With us changing, as in, was it because the Jews also used to pray towards that direction?
Ali, it's going to take me away from what I need to, but something for you to do a bit of homework. Yeah? The Prophet ﷺ, from the day he received revelation, Yeah, till he passed away, prayed. Yeah, and he prayed in Mecca, in front of the Kaaba. So which way was he praying?
Towards the Kaaba.
Well, you know, some of our, later commentators will say he used to pray in front of the Kaaba, but he used to face Jerusalem. But anyway, there's one Sahabi who never prayed towards Jerusalem. Bit of homework for you to do. Find out which one.
Yeah. So there's no practice upon the hadith of when you're in Salah, look towards the place of prostration.
Is there a hadith?
No.
The hadith which says the Prophet ﷺ used to look towards the prostration. It doesn't instruct you to do the same.
At the end, actually, I'll bring it, inshallah.
Okay, I'll be interested. But again, it's an ahad. When you have a tawatur where God is saying turn towards Masjid al-Haram. Yeah? Okay. It's clear instruction. As to, your nafil, for your fard you have to face the Qibla. Yeah? For your nafil you can pray if you're on a journey, yeah, in your car, on a plane, on a ship, on a rocket, yeah, whichever way it's going, it's fine. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Oh, so you don't have to face the direction.
No, for nafil, but your vehicle, whichever way your vehicle is going, yeah. But for a fard, you stop, come out, and you. On a rocket, it'd be difficult.
It's hard if you're an astronaut.
Yeah. Actually, it's not. You face the earth. It's not a problem. Yeah.
Isn't it easy in a way? You can just
Yeah, you just face the earth.
So,
Yeah.
I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah. Because Qadi Abdul Wahab Baghdadi, in Al-Ishraf, because there's the Prophet ﷺ prophesies that the Abyssinians will come and demolish the Kaaba. So al-Fuqaha have already said that which way will you pray when the Kaaba is demolished? The way the Kaaba was. Yeah? You'll still. So it doesn't matter. Okay. Are we okay on? Yeah?
So nafila you can pray any direction.
Nafila, as long as you're in a vehicle, on a mount, in a vehicle, whatever vehicle it is.
So if you're on a mount, does that mean that
camel, horse,
so you don't
mule, donkey?
So you don't have to follow the obligations of doing sujood how you would on the floor.
No, it's a nafil. You bow down.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. The second condition is being clean from filth on your person, on your clothes, and the place you're going to pray. Yeah? So there shouldn't be any filth on your person. So we already covered last time how to personal hygiene. When you go to the toilet, how to do ghusl, how to do wudu. Yeah. Clothes, you've got to make sure. Yeah. You're excused if you don't know, but if you do know, there's no excuse.
You've got to make sure what's the place.
Pardon?
Make sure what the place.
Your person, your clothes, and the place that you're going to pray has to be clean from filth.
From the najasa.
Yeah, clean from filth. Yeah? So, by filth is everything. God.
That's another.
We went through
day.
this already, I think, first class.
Yeah. I'll tell you where there is actually a list of what's clean and what's There's a book that Abdullah Qarawi wrote, Khulasat al-Fiqhiyya fi Sadat al-Malikiyya. Aisha Bewley's translated sections from it on her website. So if you go onto a website, you'll find, list of what's pure and what's impure.
It's the Asar text.
Huh?
It's what they teach in Asar.
Khulasat al-Fiqhiyya. Yeah, I used to teach it. There's a list, and general rule of thumb: alcohol is najis. Brewed, not chemical.
Okay.
Brewed. Wine.
Keep the wine in the fridge. Not
Yeah.
in the primary.
Yeah. Chemicals are a different story. Everything that you can eat, which is halal to eat, it's done in urine, it's not najis.
What does najis mean, Sheikh? Sorry.
Filth.
Okay.
It's ritually impure. Yeah. So with us, the things that God has declared haram to eat are haram. Yeah. Not what you'll find in hadith. Yeah. It's what Allah has declared haram. Yeah. Human urine, feces, impure. Blood is not impure. That much, is called a dirham.
50p, no?
About 50p. Usually, there's a species of donkey that has, on its inside leg, they call it dirham himar. Inside leg, it has about that size.
Okay.
That amount is usually excused, but you need to know that there's filth on you. So if you're praying, some filth falls upon you. For instance, pigeons, gulls. Don't worry, you can eat all of them. So it won't declare that. It won't. If you can remove it, fine. If you pray on it, it's fine. Yeah. Children with nappies. I don't need to say that. It's clear, isn't it?
Up to a certain age, apparently, is it? No? Or when they start eating solids, does that apply?
No.
No difference.
No difference. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. Yeah. Their urine is
Asian or African.
same.
Equality.
Yeah. But what we're looking at is that you need to have the ability to remove it. Yeah. You need to have the ability to remove it. You need to remember. You must remember to remove it. Yeah.
If you consume a najis, is the only remediation of ghusl.
Say again.
If you consume something that is najis,
Yeah.
is the only remediation of ghusl, or can you?
Well, if you eat najis, there's that isn't. You've ate it.
Like alcohol.
It's gone inside.
Brewed alcohol, for example.
Yeah.
Would one have to make
Ghusl?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Just tawbah.
No.
Just tawbah.
So gross.
You'll have to do more than that. But, yeah. But taking a ghusl won't purify you. Yeah. But if you drink, it does not make you. What you've got to understand is human as a species is clean, is pure. You do not become impure. Yeah. There's certain things that happen to you that make you impure. Your saliva, your mucus is pure. Yeah? Okay. But do you understand that, on your person, if something falls which is impure, you try your utmost to remove it, and you must have the ability to remove it. Do you know of, are you familiar with an incident where the Prophet ﷺ in prayer threw off a sandal?
The Sahaba
Do you know?
All the Sahaba done the same.
Yes. In prayer. They all threw their slippers, sandals off. The right one, not the left one. And they asked, the Prophet ﷺ finished the prayer and said, why did you do that? He says, we saw you do it. He says, Jibreel came and told me there was, feces underneath it. Yeah? So you must be made aware. Yeah? And then you do it. Yes. You go first and then we'll take her. Go on.
Oh, can you pray with shoes on? That's exactly outside.
As long as you can bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh wow.
But condition. Yeah?
Yeah.
The leather must be halal.
So it must be leather. It can't be pig.
No. The leather must be clean, must be pure.
Is it like the animal or just the...
The animal and the slaughter.
Oh my god.
That's if you're wearing leather. If you're not,
That's if you're wearing leather.
Okay.
Yeah? So if it's made out of a cloth or, it's fine.
So you can only pray with shoes out.
That's me,
No vegan shoes.
Oh, vegan shoes is good.
They make vegan leather.
There you go. But the thing is, shoes from Muslim countries,
Yeah.
shoes from Muslim countries, because they are overwhelmingly, you expect that they're being slaughtered and they're being tanned.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, but if they come from like China,
Yeah.
No.
yeah,
Could be anything.
it could be.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that with shoes you must be able to do.
Yeah.
Because they didn't used to, at the time of the Prophet they didn't used to wear the shoes that we did. Yeah? And they wore sandals. They wore shoes because there wasn't carpet on the thing. Yes, sorry, hold on.
I had to think.
Oh, here, go on.
If you're praying outside, how do you know if there is any najis or not? If you don't know, then it's fine.
Okay, we're coming to the place now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've done the person, on your clothes. Now, on the place, literally the place that you're standing and the place that you're going to do sajda on needs to be clean.
Okay.
Is that number 3?
No, same, because it's three aspects.
But how,
If the sun hits it,
yeah.
if the sun has hit it, it's clean. By hitting it, I mean sunshine.
Well, things like some urine that you didn't know.
Well, if you know it's urine, then you ain't going to pray there, are you?
No, but obviously you don't know then.
I
But
think
if
that's
you
what
do-
it says, isn't it? Man, dhikr al-Qur'an. So you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But what you're looking at, majority of times, we know that, for instance, if we go to a park and we see, a dog, yeah, going round, you ain't going to go and pray or sit where the dogs be.
But you don't put, obviously, if you put a cloth there or something, it's fine.
Well, if you've got those mats or whatever, you can. That's fine. But grass or concrete or pavement, as long as it's clean, it's fine. Yes.
Does this also have to do something with animals? Like if you touch an animal or I've had some.
As long as the animal is living, we covered this last time. Yeah. As long as it's alive, it's clean.
Okay.
If it's dead, it's unclean.
Does that include dogs, by the way?
It includes dogs. It includes pigs.
Just asking.
It includes dogs and it includes pigs.
We love dogs here.
Yeah. Same hukum as cats. You remember that? Yeah. Okay. So this thing of mats and all that, prayer mats, that would solve that problem. Yeah? And as a general rule, if the sun has shone on that place, that will, because the sun bleaches things, so it will purify it. And the normal way of removing filth is water. Do you remember from last? Yeah. So you will use clean water to remove filth. You know the incident of the nomad who came and urinated in the mosque of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how did they purify the mosque? They water. Yeah? Yeah, they poured water over it and the sun dried it. It was clean. Yeah? So water, sun does the job. Are we okay on that? Okay. The fourth condition is tahara. Wudu.
So what was third?
Huh?
What was third?
Third was what we just discussed.
The place.
No, it's being free from najas.
I thought there was second.
Second, yeah, I thought that was second as well. Being free from filth was second.
Oh, sorry. Third is aura.
Third is aura.
Aura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your privates must be covered. Yeah? Now, again, with this, the condition being, you must remember, you must have the ability. You must remember to cover your privates, and you must have the ability to cover your privates. I'm not going to tell you what they are, because it's going to be in the next couple of verses. Yeah? But you must have the ability to cover your privates. And you must remember to cover your privates. Pardon? The aura. Yeah? Someone who on purpose prays naked with having, remembering and having the ability to cover will void his prayer or her prayer. So someone who, prayed by mistake, his prayer would be valid, or her prayer would be valid. You're perplexed. You're okay. Okay. Fourth one, wudu. You must have wudu. And the condition is from the beginning till the end. From the opening of the prayer till, the salam. You must be in wudu. I have a student who comes from Leicester. And he put this question to me that, what do you do if the imam breaks his wudu? And then tells you the next day.
Oh my God!
It's happened in London.
Yeah, some mosque we brought up a sign that the imam didn't have wudu, so everyone.
It happened in Leicester as well.
Can you repeat the prayers? That's what I asked.
Yeah, he was saying, someone's at the door. He asked
This is technically something that not
the thing is, as long as your prayer will be fine. It's the prayer of the imam that's the problem. But you need to have wudu from the beginning till the end.
Is that a Maliki opinion?
What, for wudu?
No, as in if the imam breaks his wudu and he tells you after that the follower has his prayer is still valid.
If he tells you the next day.
If he tells you the next day, is your prayer still valid? Is that a Maliki opinion?
But if he tells you there and then, you have to do it again.
Sorry again?
If he tells you there and then you have to do it again.
Within the time.
Do any other madhabs differ on that?
I really don't know. But what you'll find is that, technically, he's leading, they're praying behind. But coming back to what we're on, is that, you must, have wudu from beginning till end. Yeah, be facing the Qibla. Have your privates covered. Yeah, and be praying. There be no filth on your person, on your clothes, and where you're praying. Those are, the 4 conditions on prayer. Are we okay on that? With the others, the condition that you must remember and have the ability for tahara does not. That's not a condition. You must have tahara.
Tahara translates as purity.
Purity. You must be in a state of purity. Yeah, and you must have the ability. If you can't do, there is a bit of information which is useless information. Yeah, but it's good information because people like talking about useless information. Is that if you don't have any way of purifying yourself, yeah, you can't pray. So because you can't pray, you're not held accountable for that prayer. Faqid al-taharatain. If there's no water or tayammum that you can do tayammum with, and one prayer comes and the next prayer comes and you're not held accountable.
Is that the position you take?
Huh?
That's the position you take.
No, that's the position you take. It's not my position. That's the position for us. That you can't go through the motions of the Hanafis, of purifying yourself. No, you can't. There's no way to purify yourself.
Emotions.
Hey, leave Hanafi fiqh.
Okay. Like pretending, is it like?
Yeah, you leave it to them. Can we turn this off, or are you?
Of course.
Move on to aura, which is of interest. Ali, 108 to 109.
So wait, are we doing? Do you know that we did the 3rd condition? Are we talking more about the 3rd condition now, which is aura?
This is aura, because we need to know what aura is.
Okay, so we're from 108.
108 to 109.
Did we do the Zadbaniya بوقت كفتا
Which one?
It's recommended to repeat in the times. So 107.
107. We're on. Where are we? 107.
It's recommended to repeat in these 2 cases.
Again, what if fil qibla? Read 107 again.
Okay. It is preferable in these 2 cases that the salat is repeated when within the time. Similarly, whenever one is mistaken in the direction of the qibla, but not in the case of incapacity with respect to the qibla, or when failing to cover one's private parts.
Okay. Repeating within the time. If you get the qibla wrong, and someone tells you the right way, you repeat it within the time. Nadban, as a recommendation. It's a get-out clause. Anybody play Monopoly?
Yeah.
You get the get-out card, get out of jail card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you get things wrong, if you get the direction wrong, you will repeat the prayer within the time. So what does that mean? So if you don't repeat it and the time for the next prayer comes in, your prayer is valid. Does that make sense? Yeah? And this يعيد في الوقت, it means, you know, the daruri the ikhtiyari time, not the daruri time. Do you remember from last time we did the times?
Yeah, I got a bit confused with that.
Oh God.
Will you go over it again? Oh, that's really confused.
Just one time.
Huh?
Really briefly.
Just one.
Okay. The ikhtiyari time is time in which you've got a choice to pray. Yeah? So there's a beginning time and an end time.
Yeah.
Then the daruri time is in which you don't have a choice. If you find yourself in that time, you pray straight away.
Okay, so what is each one?
Okay. No, that's what I'm telling you. You know, ikhtiyari time. Oh, you want the times of the prayer?
No, I mean
So how do you work out what is the ikhtiyari time? When does it become daruri? So like for dhuhr.
No, I went with them last time.
Yeah,
Did you? Oh, darn, I remember this. I've got it on the street. Okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah? Daruri, dhuhr, yeah?
Yeah.
Dhuhr comes in midday.
Yeah.
The daruri, I mean the ikhtiyari.
Yeah.
Yeah? It lasts one shadow.
Yeah.
That when the ikhtiyari of dhuhr finishes. After one shadow, that's when asr, the ikhtiyari of asr begins. It lasts till the yellowing of the sun.
Yeah, I get that bit. I mean, like
Yeah.
the time when you have, like, if you haven't prayed yet. So
Yeah.
In the asr time, that's the daruri time for dhuhr.
The daruri time, you know when asr begins,
Yeah.
the ikhtiyari of asr begins,
Okay.
that's when the daruri of dhuhr begins.
Okay, I get it.
You get it?
Yeah, that's simple. Got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Only what's that animal, you know, that's really lazy?
Sloth.
The sloth. You know, only a sloth you know, you must be a Maliki sloth to miss
dhuhr.
to miss, you know, the daily prayers.
I've heard it's great. We have a lot of flex. Like,
No, because you know from
I don't know. Flexibility, but
from midday
yeah.
till, you know, sunset, you have dhuhr and asr.
That's true, man.
Yeah, and from, you know, sunset till, you know, dawn, you've got maghrib and isha.
You shouldn't really miss it.
And from, you know, dawn
Yeah.
till sunrise, you've got subh.
So Zuhr and Asr mix in together, so the
Yeah.
timings
Yeah,
for the Maliki.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you shouldn't do it on purpose. Like,
No, don't do
when
it.
it
don't do it.
happens.
Yeah. If we get time, I'll go over it again, inshallah. Okay. The Aura. Go on, Ali. 108 and 109.
So 108 says, all of the body of a free woman must be covered, as the private parts except the face and the palms. If the breast, the hair, or another part of her body is uncovered, then she should repeat the salat in the prescribed time.
Okay. Now, aura. It's interesting that, you know, only a woman's aura is mentioned and a man's aura is not mentioned. Yes.
Before we go to man, is feet aura?
We're coming to it. Yeah? Okay. Now, do you understand what we mean by aura? Nakedness.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, aura is split into two types. Yeah? One which must be covered. If that is covered, you are naked, and it will nullify your prayer. And the other is the other type, which is called, you know, mukhaffifa. One is called mughlida, the other is called mukhaffifa. Mughlida is literally the privates, the two openings, back and front, male and female. No, male. Let me do the male. Yeah, male. Mughlida, two openings. Mukhaffifa, from the navel to the knee. Mukhaffifa.
The navel. Is it the belly button or the hip bone?
Navel is the belly button.
Belly button.
Yes, covered from your belly button.
Yes.
So, like, you know how people wear swimming suits, right?
Yes.
So if it doesn't start from from your belly button,
Yeah.
you're showing it over.
You're showing your mukhaffifa.
Yeah, but if they're swimming.
Yeah.
It's all men, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what you've got to understand is that it's the mughlida.
What does it mean?
Literally means thick.
Thick.
Yeah. But what it means is what is an obligation, that it must be covered.
But I thought mukhlida was must.
Mughlida is a must.
Also, mukhaffifa means.
Mukhaffifa is light.
Light.
From khaf is light. Yeah. Now, what from the belly button to the knees, not including the knees. Yeah. I'm not going to get into a debate: are the thighs awra or not? But we'll just take the mashhur, that the up to the knees.
So does that mean the knees have to be covered or not?
We're talking about the men.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Oh.
The knees don't have to be covered for prayer.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. You read the shorts are okay.
So, the first type, you said it must be covered.
Yeah.
The second type, so that's navel to the knee, is that
Recommended.
recommended?
Yes. Okay. No, well, put recommended in brackets. Just put light aura. What must, yeah?
So wait, Sheikh, this has to be, this is the recommended part.
No, not recommended,
Okay.
light. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, for the woman, usually what they do is that, women get divided into slave and free. Yeah? Going through the slave aura is pointless because there's no slaves. Yeah? So, her mughlida is literally, do you include the chest or not? It depends on who you're talking to. It's usually, where the ribs begin. Yeah? From the front to the back. So the chest are not included. Yeah? To the thighs.
Again, sorry?
Their knees.
Yeah.
That's the mughlida for the woman.
For salah, you mean?
No, we're talking about aura.
Oh.
Nothing to do with salah. We're talking about aura.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah?
So
Could you repeat that? Sorry, I missed it.
Let's stick with salah. Let's
Okay.
not confuse the issue. Mughlida. Okay.
No, stick with the aura because I'm getting this.
Okay. Aura for woman.
Yeah.
The mughlida, what must be covered. If it becomes uncovered, it will nullify the prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. The mughlida, the same with the man. If his mughlida becomes uncovered, it will nullify the prayer. For the woman, where the ribs begin, from there, front, back, not the chest. The thighs, not including the knee, the same as the man. Front and back. Yeah? Then from the top of the feet, not the soles. Yeah? Top of the feet. Everything else apart from the hands and the face is mukhaffifa.
From here.
Yeah, the top of your feet?
Mm-hmm.
The top of your feet, that is aura.
Is it?
Yeah. Soles is not.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the feet.
So if you wear something like a really long skirt.
Yeah, skirt is fine, wearing socks is fine.
If you don't wear socks and you have a long skirt, and then, for instance, if you...
Yeah, the top, because traditionally, the long thobe, because it covers the top of the feet, That's why it's always the top of the feet, not the soles of the feet. Yeah.
Is that
No. So the face, the hands should be seen.
and
Yeah.
is that in prayer? Or is that is this
No, we're dealing with prayer.
we're dealing with prayer?
We're dealing with prayer.
But in general, like, so are women always sandals then?
You see, if you wear sandals and not wear sandals, it's okay. Because what's happened is that at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that's what women wore in that society.
It's quite hot.
Yeah. Now, in prayer, top of your feet should be covered.
Okay.
Bottom of your feet is okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, because what happens is that the hukum, majority of scholarship will say the same hukum applies outside of prayer.
Right.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that if you, because with the slave, this is going away from it, but we will help you. A slave girl, her head is not aura. It's recommended that she pray with her head uncovered.
Why is that?
Because it's not her aura.
She's a slave.
It's how we've not. My take is we're not. We've taken it out of the statute book, but we've not taken it out of our fiqh books. Slavery. But the interesting thing is that because the head, covering the head or not covering the head, inside prayer or outside prayer, it's if you prayed, a free woman, if she prayed without her head covered, her prayer would still be valid. She will be recommended to repeat the prayer in the time. Eid fil waqt.
That being because it's not hamurida.
Yeah, it's mukhaffifa.
Because it's mukhaffifa, it's
Yeah.
recommended
You repeat the prayer.
within the time.
So, if your feet were showing, top of your feet were showing, if your forearms were showing, yeah, or some of your hair was showing, or your scarf fell off while you were praying, it would be recommended that you repeat the prayer within the time.
And if you didn't repeat it, then
Your prayer is still valid. A friend of mine, doesn't like mentioning that to women. I says, no, that's not right.
He doesn't like mentioning that.
Yeah.
Why?
He says you give them an inch, they take an arm. But again, that's a joke, sorry.
That's just silly.
Sheikh, does the mukhlida and the
We're not sure.
mukhlifa both have to be
Yeah.
fulfilled for the prayer to be accepted? As in, we talked about mukhlida and
Yeah.
mukhlifa, and then both of them have to be completed for the prayer to be completed, because you said if for a woman the
No,
mukhlif-
what you've got to understand is that one is a must. If that becomes uncovered, and you have not what it is, if you can see it, yeah, your prayer is nullified. Yeah. Yes.
When we say see, and you have to see the bare skin, because there's a lot of discussion sometimes about women, what we wear, it's too tight, or it describes your shape, and they consider that some scholars would say that's seeing, whereas do we mean that we just see the bare skin? If it's see-through, of course you can see it, but if you're for instance, you've got something quite clingy on, does that count as, not that I'm saying we're going to go around with skin tight stuff on, but sometimes you might have a tight top on and you're praying at home or wherever.
The rule is
What counts
لا
as
تشف
seeing?
ولا تصف, that if the shape can be seen, they say no.
No, what? No.
Not valid.
It's not valid.
But again, this is where women need to come into this field and come up and teach the men.
I think that's good though, actually.
No. What you've got to understand is that we're dealing with rules that are not, in concrete.
As
Yeah.
much as some people like to tell you
Yeah.
it is.
It's like, about men's aura. Yeah? We say navel, yeah? We mean pubic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? We say knee, but we mean thigh. Because the opinions are such. So when I have, teenagers saying, can I play football? I say, it's okay. Can I go swimming? It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah? But the thing is, it's the point is that if we don't, move with, the way society is, we literally can't apply ahkam, rules and opinions that were given when we were in power. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like majority of opinions you'll find, you go on the net, you go to the Imam at the mosque, he will open a book, the book was written 500 years ago and it's not been updated. And he might have studied from, in the most modern university, you'll think, but the mind is still when the book was written. We've got to, unless we come up to date ourselves, we will still. Yeah? Yes.
I know we said that we don't have slave women anymore.
Yes.
In the sense that at the time of Islamic empire or whatever, but the head not being covered, what else was it? Because I find this quite an interesting topic.
Okay, chest.
Just because a lot of guys nowadays, modern times, go, well, we can see your hair, we see chests everywhere. I'm just thinking, well, that was sort of seen at the time of the Prophet, essentially. But
Slave women were working in the fields, bare-chested, head uncovered, head uncovered. At the time, the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba, Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anh is one of the companions who didn't differentiate between his women, be they slave or free. He used to dress them exactly the same. And his father, Sayyidina Umar, he called him and said, what's going on? How am I supposed to know who's free and who's a slave? So women, if you go to Mauritania even now, it's never been, the way it is in South Asia. Women still, the sides sometimes are, not so.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But what you'll find is that, whenever the Malikis have ruled, we've never been where we've come down like a ton of bricks on women. It's always been on, structure, justice and people's rights and, the zakat, buying and selling. Those are the points that need to be more emphasized than, how women dress. Yeah, you don't see people having a problem how men dress.
It's a double standard, isn't it?
It is.
You can see like pictures on Facebook.
Because if women's body showing is a problem, then men's skinny jeans and tight t-shirts is a problem.
True.
The rules are exactly the same. Okay. 110 and 111. Are we okay on awrah?
Sheikh, I just have one slight confusion in mukhallifa for women. I was slightly
Mughallidha.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So there was the compulsory one, and then there was the must.
Yeah, compulsory one and non-compulsory one. That's good.
What was the other one? The non-compulsory.
Mukhaffifa.
What was it in exactly? Because I'm slightly
Right.
confused.
Mukhaffifa is everything other than the face and hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, needs to be covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything other than the face and hands. Yes.
Face, does that include?
Not the face means face. Yeah.
Where we do wobble?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
I see some women of the soul, especially like in Morocco, they show their neck, and they only wear the hijab around their head. And is that allowed?
What do you mean by women of the soul?
It's quite popular for them.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been going to Morocco since '87, and I actually travelled in a convoy. Our sheikhs and murids and fakirat, and they even wear niqab. All the fakirat did.
Mm-hmm.
But there are women who don't even cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's you take women at, just as we take men at what stage they're at. That's what you take. There isn't. What you'll find is that the people of Tasawwuf are the ones that are, the more deep you go in Tasawwuf, the more stringent they are. There are others, malamities where they do it on purpose, where they'll not obey the outward thing. But that's a different story. I've not seen what you're saying. It's just there's an image and the reality is something else.
I see.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
if you miss the mukhaffifa, the non-compulsory things.
No, the mukhaffifa for men and women. Mukhaffifa for men and women. If it becomes uncovered in prayer, you repeat your prayer within the time. Yeah? Now, if your mughlida becomes uncovered in prayer, yeah, you are under obligation to repeat your prayer. Does that? Yeah? One nullifies it, the other doesn't. Yeah?
You know the mukhaffifa for women, is that based on text or amal?
It's text.
The one in Abu Dawood.
Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ told Asma bin Abi Bakr.
But the hadith is not sahih.
What's that got to do with the price of bread?
Does the Maliki madhab have an opinion on niqab?
Pardon?
Does the Maliki madhab have an opinion on niqab, like also the Hanafis?
We do. We do. We do. Niqab is relative. I'll tell you why.
You mean society-wise?
No,
Oh.
is relative because beauty
Oh, yeah.
is relative. Yeah? And I'll tell you how crass, some of our jurists are. They say that if you're black, it's not.
Really?
Yeah. It's just that,
They actually said that. And,
That's so rude.
it is.
Racist.
When they
Wow.
say black, do they mean that in like the actual colour of the skin? Or
No, because
is
you've
it
got to
Arabic
understand.
style?
You've got to understand that society has always had this hierarchy of free and slaves. Yeah, majority of slaves in the Arab world were from Africa. Majority of the slaves in the Turkish world were European. Yeah, majority of the slaves in the Indian world were, either Turkish or African. Yeah, historically we've always had this. Yeah. Now, beauty is relative to who says that this is beautiful. You go to Mauritania, a fat, plump woman is a beautiful woman. Yeah. Now, you come to this world, size 0 is a beautiful woman. Yeah. It depends. It's society. So what they say is that a beautiful woman, it's wajib upon her. By wajib, they don't mean wajib obligatory to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, niqab historically, all societies have had it. Yeah. You go to Morocco. Historically, all of the women. It doesn't matter, from the farmer's girl to the princess. They all wore niqabs. Now it's rare. Now you'll find that the scholarly class or the Sufis, they wear niqab. The general public doesn't wear niqab anymore. But again, it's relative.
Wajib in the Maliki school, what does that mean? Is that recommended?
No, wajib in the Maliki school means fard. Wajib is a synonym for an obligation. But what you find is that, for niqab, you'll find that some scholars will say it's wajib if her beauty is going to cause fitna. Yeah? Now that's what I mean, that wajib here doesn't mean wajib, because wajib is tied to the understanding of beauty.
And that's quite impossible to
Yeah, so they say to the Arabs, a black woman is not beautiful, but then they marry them.
I think there was scholars, Maliki scholars that wrote poetry talking about the beauty of black women. So I think it's.
No, as I said, it's relative.
Yeah,
No, it's relative. There's so many Maliki scholars who were black, who were actually, Baba Timbuktu is one of, the greats, and he's the only scholar I know who actually has written on slavery from the Malikiya in detail, because he actually was bought and sold as a slave. He was a scholar, and he got sold.
What's his name?
Baba Timbuktu.
So how do you make that judgment?
Yeah.
So
it's again, as I said, it's relative. What's beautiful is relative. So niqab, just leave it there.
If you want to wear it, if you don't.
No, if you want to wear it, wear it. What I know of and what the people I've sat with, they say in this country, no. In this country, no. I'll tell you something that has shaped my understanding of hijab. It's in English. It's a Mullah Rumi's story in Fihi Ma Fihi. I'll tell it you quickly. A new shop opened in the town, and it had black, shutters. Everybody went in happy, came out, miserable. Everything. It was the only shop that sold, whatever it did, all wrapped up, and the whole bazaar. People wanted to know what was going on, and no one, had the guts to go in and find out. And then one of them went in, and he went up and came out miserable. And all the shopkeepers came and said, "What is it?" And he said, "Here." And the opening was a loaf of bread.
What?
It was a loaf of bread.
So there's not much.
No, because the thing is, when you wrap up something that's so normal, when you wrap it up and hide it, you actually, the whole thing of hijab is not to stand out like a sore thumb. when you stand out like a sore thumb, you know, when you put up niqab and, you know, become like ninjas, you're actually doing the opposite of what hijab is supposed to be. You're supposed to blend in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would that be a justification for a woman to take off her hijab?
No. There's never justification.
But then, Sheikh, if someone came and said, well, someone could say that, okay, well, in our society, wearing hijab would be, in this society, or is that relative to a Muslim society? Because someone here could say, oh, well, relative to our society, this is actually standing out.
Your society is Muslim society, not the UK society.
Yeah.
This is the thing that, you know, when you bring urf in, urf is of your Muslim community, not of, you know, your community that you've come from or the community that you live in. Inshallah. Okay. 110 and 100. Are we? We could spend the whole day talking about it, but, you know, we'll never come to a conclusion. And what I've shared with you is the majority position. You know, everything below the breasts, back and front, up to not including the thighs, everything. I mean, not including the knees, from there up to below the breasts, back and front. That's mughlida for a woman. Yeah. Everything other than that is mukhaffifa.
And that's including outside of, I know we're talking about it in prayer, but that's including outside of prayer.
Well, what they do is that, you know, the fuqaha rarely, you know, talk about it. They say because it's covered in prayer, we're not going to talk about it outside because it's exactly the same.
And like with family members,
if you can't marry them, if you can't, if you can't marry them,
yeah.
I mean, if you can't marry them,
Yeah.
yeah, if you can't marry them,
Yeah.
mahram, you know your mahrams, yeah, your mahrams, you can head uncovered, not a problem, forearms, whatever.
I think what's like is to obviously you have.
You ain't going to, you know,
No,
in front of, you know, your mahrams, you're not going to be
No, obviously.
bare-chested and all that, are you?
No, I'm asking like the.
No, but in front of Muslim women, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
it's possible. Not impossible. Yeah.
I want to just chip in because in Morocco, in the public baths, it's like
They
considered
do.
completely, utterly, absolutely normal to go in completely butt naked and nobody blinks and
I know.
no one cares.
That's why our sheikh says don't go there.
Honestly, but I'm just saying, like, if somebody was to go into a public bath without, for instance, their boiler broke or whatever, and they can't wash at home, whatever it is, and they need to use a public bath, for them,
What the thing is, in a public bath, that's what I was saying. With Muslim women, in your mughlida, it's not abhorred. Yeah? But again, in your mughlida, it would be certain types of women that you would. Yeah? Does it make sense?
No.
Right. You know, certain family members you can, you know, sit with, you're happy with, you want to spend time, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah? But the thing is that with, you know, your mates, from knees downwards showing, or from your arms or whatever showing, your head being naked with Muslim women wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah? With non-Muslim women, it's your hands and face that can show.
You can't show your hand.
No.
Is it because they can describe it?
No, it's just that, you know, with Muslim women, it's a different code of honor.
Oh, okay.
It's because a Muslim will protect your honor. A non-Muslim will not protect your honor. It's an honor thing.
Is that like a blanket rule?
Yeah. But again, you know your friends than I do.
But what if someone feels...
Yeah, so it's not blanket rule.
Yeah?
It's contextual.
Yeah.
But what if, because some people might feel more comfortable with their non-Muslim friends than their Muslim friends in some cases.
But with men, it's exactly the same. You know, with from your
even
navel
friends.
to your knees, the rest is fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, can we?
Yeah.
Let's get back to the text.
Okay. 110 and 111. The conditions of obligation is being free from bleeding. Yeah?
Is this number 5?
No, 110 and 111. Go on, Ali, read it. We're still on the conditions being free.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so 110. A condition of its being obligatory is her being free of menstrual blood or of the whitish fluid which marks the end of the cycle or becoming dry. 111 is she does not have to make up her days of menstruation. The next and final condition is that at the time of salat is that the time of salat has arrived, in which case I say be sure to perform it within this time.
Okay. Now, it's being free from bleeding. Yeah? Be it menstrual bleeding or postnatal bleeding. You have to be sure that it's stopped. Yeah? There's usually a show of mucus, but you have to, whatever you're using, you must come back dry to check. Yeah? The day it begins will not be counted. You don't make a qada of that. Yeah?
What do you mean? Sorry?
If it began today, you won't make qada of that. That day's gone.
So if you, for instance, you miss Maghrib prayer on that day, like the Daruri time, your period comes and then you don't make up that prayer that you missed.
No,
on that day.
if your bleeding begins in daruri time, yeah, you will not make it.
If it begins in ikhtiyari time,
If it begins in ikhtiyari time, you will not make it.
you just don't make it.
You just don't, because it's. But if once you become free from, and by free we mean you've taken the ghusl, not that it's stopped bleeding. You've got to be clear on this, that you've taken the ghusl. So once the ghusl is taken, you're in daruri time, yeah, of Dhuhr and Asr. Yeah? So if you can pray 3 rak'ats, yeah, if there's time before sunset of 3 rak'ats, yeah, you will pray Dhuhr and Asr. Yeah? If it's time to pray, if before sunset, if there's time for 2 rak'ats, you will pray Asr. Does that make sense? Yeah? Now, before subh coming in, dawn coming in, yeah, you've taken the ghusl, you're free. If there's time to pray 3 rak'ats, yeah, again you'll pray 2, Maghrib and Isha.
You pray 2 prayers.
2 prayers. Yeah. If there's time to pray 2 rak'ats, you'll pray Isha.
Is there an acceptable time between when a woman knows that she's completely dry and between when she takes the ghusl? Like,
No.
for example, if she late at night she realizes she's completely dry and she decides to shower in the morning, is that acceptable, or does she need to shower straight away?
What will happen is it comes down to point of taqwa now. It comes down to the person. Is the relationship you have with God. Because if it comes to just us, I want to have a sleep. No, it's your relationship with God. So if you realize that it's dry, yeah, get up, have a shower, pray, then go to sleep. But what you've got to understand is that, you know, the daruri time for Maghrib and Isha, yeah, it doesn't finish till dawn kicks in. So if during the night you feel that you're dry, not just feeling, you need to know. This is what it's important. Feeling and knowing is two different things. You need to know that you're dry, yeah, and then take the shower, then pray. If you don't take the shower, it doesn't kick in. It's like, you know, the ikhtiyari of Maghrib, yeah, doesn't finish till you've prayed it. So, argument's sake, sun goes down, you realize that, you know, you're dry, bleeding stopped, so you take ghusl, yeah, then you pray Maghrib. That's when the ikhtiyari of Maghrib will finish for you. Then you pray Isha.
And it doesn't count as a make-up prayer, that'll be exceptional.
No, it's in time.
Yeah.
This is the beauty that, you know, in daruri time, it never becomes qada. It'll only become qada when, you know, for instance, Maghrib kicks in, then Dhuhr and Asr have become qada.
Oh, yeah.
And when, you know, Subh kicks in, Maghrib and Isha have become qada.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And qada prayers are...
You have to make them up.
You just do them
as you would pray them normally.
That's
No difference at all.
There's nothing extra you have to
Nothing.
do or
Nothing. There's no if you're making qada up, there's no you'll only make the obligatory prayer up.
If you have due qada prayer, do you pray the salah, do you pray the prayer that is due first and then the qada, or do you pray the qada first and then the prayer that is due?
If you've got 6 or more, if you've got 6 prayers to make up, yeah, any prayer that you pray before you've made those up, those will be nullified by those qada. They'll nullify it. You'll have to make those up. But if it's 6 or more, then it's okay.
So if it's 6 or more, you do the prayer that's due first, then do your qada.
Yeah. But if it's 6 or less,
so i.e. a whole day's prayer.
A whole day's prayer, you've got to make those up before you pray. Yeah? Okay. Are we okay on that? Yeah? Okay. Sunan of prayer. Now, Ali, I'm not going to ask you to read this because it's too long. Yeah? What time does Asr kick in here?
I'm just checking now.
Shall we say that we pray 4 o'clock?
That's fine.
We can,
Yeah.
Yeah, Asr here is at 3:20.
3:20.
Yeah.
Ah,
Were you checking for?
no, 3:20. Okay. Anyway, let's begin this.
Okay.
Yeah, let's begin this. There are 22 sunan of prayer. Keep in mind that, you know, in the morning we did the fara'id of prayer. Yeah, these are the sunan aspects of prayer. Yeah, so the first of them, first sunan, is reading a surah after Fatiha. Yeah. In the first 2 rak'ats. This is for the imam and the one praying on his own.
So that means that if you miss it, then what happens?
No, this is for the imam
Oh.
and the one praying on their own.
Yeah, so on my own.
On your own. How can you miss it on your own?
No, so on my own. Say, for example, there's a time constraint and you read Fatiha and then you don't read a surah after it.
If the sun is going down,
Yeah, whatever.
if the time is really tight, you will only pray with the phone.
Yeah, okay. Get it.
Does that make sense?
And you could deliberately skip it.
Like at
You
work
got
or
problems.
something.
Okay.
I'll be like, what was that?
So if you miss a sunnah,
skip it.
Oh.
No problem.
it doesn't invalidate your prayer.
It does not invalidate it. Your prayer will be valid, but you've left something meritorious.
But it's not good, like, to make
No.
it a habit.
Yes.
So before you say, because we're starting now with the what you say after Fatiha, but so when you say Allah Akbar, there's no raising the hands or something.
We're coming to it. We're
Okay.
coming to it. We're coming to it.
Okay.
We're coming to it. Yeah. So Fatiha, surah. Yeah. Now keep in mind, it's a surah. The sunnah is to read a surah, not an ayah or 3 ayahs.
Oh, you can't do that.
Right. Read a surah.
Some people
Yeah.
read like, you know, when
Ayatul
you're
Kursi.
if you're following,
Yeah, like
Imam
Hanafi
reading prayer, they do like a couple
No,
ayahs.
leave that to them. We'll stick
So
to
we
ours.
can't
Okay.
do
Yeah.
a couple long ayahs. We have to do a
If you want to, yeah. If you want to, you really need to know what you're doing.
Okay, but it's
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to know what you're doing.
Okay.
So, for instance, a surah completes, the subject that it's covering. So, if you're reading a portion of the Quran, you need to cover the subject that you're reading.
Yeah, there's no point in just reading
There's
Surah
no point just taking 3 ayats from there.
Yeah.
So what the fuqaha say is that the minimum would be 1 ayah, the size of Ayatul Kursi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Ayatul Kursi covers the subject. Yeah. So if you take another portion of the Quran and it covers the subject, then that's fine. But the sunnah is to read a surah. Now, a bit of homework for you. Yeah? Sheikh Google might help you, but maybe he will not. Find a time or a reference where the Prophet ﷺ read just a portion of the Quran other than a surah. Yeah?
There is a hadith in al-Nasa'i where he split sort of Nizalaha into 2.
Okay. And how rare is that?
Huh?
Send me the reference. That'd be interesting. Yeah, because it'd be interesting. Because with us the sunnah is a surah. Yeah, surah, complete surah. So even Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar is fine. It's a surah. And in the prayers that are said aloud, the surah will be said aloud. In the prayers that are silent, it will be silent. Yeah?
I have a question.
Yes.
It's been a long time now when I was young. Someone told me that we shouldn't pray with the Bidiyad and this surah because it's negative somehow. Is there any solution?
It's actually not negative.
What's negative?
It's not negative.
I don't know the reason. I can't remember. I just remember that.
Yeah, because there used to be someone who used to miss it, because he would say that because Abu Lahab was related to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ came to his dream and he says he praises me. Yeah, he praises me because it was said against the enemy of the Prophet ﷺ. He used to put him down, and God praised the maqam of the Prophet ﷺ. It's like he used to do this, but look what God has said about him. But there's nothing wrong. It's a surah from the Quran. The second is to stand for that surah. Yeah? To stand for that surah. The third and fourth sunan is to recite aloud in the loud prayers and to recite silently in the silent prayers. So it's a sunnah. Yeah? So in Asr is Dhuhr and Asr is silent. Maghrib, Isha and Subh is audible. So those are sunnah actions.
And in Ruku' and Sujood, do you say them silently or do you say everything loud?
We're talking about surahs. Yes.
Is that for women also that they
It's sunnah.
pray loud?
Yes. No,
In
the
Maliki?
hukum is not different.
Yeah, 'cause we've been told differently.
Yeah,
Like,
I always thought as for women quiet. Like I was told, like I was.
Like
No,
maybe
the-
the levels of loudness.
No, the
or-
level of loudness is lower. Not that they don't recite aloud.
Like the loudness for
Audible.
men is enough to, for instance, somebody else can hear them, but for a woman it's enough that she can hear herself.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
no louder than that.
Again, depends on where you're praying. Yeah,
So
where you're praying. You shouldn't. If you're in a mosque, you don't distract others from their prayer. Yes.
So with the silent prayer, is that so that your lips
Have to move.
Because I can always hear myself. So
That's good.
But
Your
even
lip.
in silent prayers, I can still hear myself.
Good. Your lips have to move.
So I don't have to do the silent prayer.
No, silent prayer is that you can hear yourself.
But in the loud prayer.
The loud prayer, someone else can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes, good.
I have a friend at work who, when he prays silently, he's very audible,
Yes.
and it's very, very irritating. Is it something that I can tell him? That
No.
you shouldn't be doing this. Or?
Again, silent prayer is that you can hear yourself and your lips have to move.
But if I can hear him,
If you can hear him again,
You might
completely
have
destroys
hearing
my.
Have a chat with.
His silence is a bit louder than me.
tell
okay.
them we need to talk about it.
Look, Jahar, yeah, loud is that you can hear yourself, and above that, yeah, silent, yeah.
above what?
Jahar. When you say your prayer, you can hear yourself, and audible would be just a bit higher than that. You're not, in a mosque leading prayer. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah, it's a conversation that's happening. So when you're talking to someone else, that's what you've got to keep in mind. That you're talking to someone, and it's just above. You can hear yourself. Yeah.
Sheikh, do you know when you said at the start there needs to be no muttering? I'm slightly confused. When was that? When is this?
What do you mean muttering?
As in, do you know when we talk about obligations? And
This was when someone prayed behind the imam with the person.
No. This is when you are when you're leading prayer, or you're praying on your own.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the imam or the individual. Yeah. Now, silent is that your lips move. Yeah. Your lips move. يحرك لسانه, and your tongue moves. And it's the same with the woman. So the loud is just the decibel is less for a woman. 5. Yeah. Every takbir other than the opening takbir.
So what was 4?
No, 3 and 4,
Okay.
silent and loud. 5, every takbir other than the opening takbir. That's a clear one.
Do you mean only the opening takbir is loud?
No,
Just
the
say-
opening takbir is fard. Yeah, is an
Oh.
obligatory. Every other takbir in prayer is a sunnah.
Oh, okay.
One that we don't leave.
No, yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you
So-
can get up from sujood without saying Allahu Akbar, and you don't have to say takbir when you are from sujood and then you're standing.
It's not considered.
It's not fard.
Yeah, it's sunnah.
Oh,
Yeah. Every takbir in prayer, other than the opening takbir, is sunnah. Yeah?
So even the audible and inaudible. all
Every takbir, other than the opening takbir, is a sunnah.
Is there a reason for that?
Oh, I love you, lot. I really love you, lot.
We can't really do right now.
Bunch of students yet because everybody else is doing that. You now checking the straight down. And we're like, well, why?
I think Sheikh's done with that section.
No, the thing is, look, why we divide them up, I said it before, why they divide it up into fard and sunan. Sunan prayer, if you miss a sunnah, your prayer is valid. It can be corrected. If you leave a fard, it voids the prayer. If you do not, go back and correct it. Yes?
Okay, you're probably going to cover it, so I'm just going to wait until...
Okay, that's fine. 6 and 7. Yeah? 6 and 7. Tashhud. Yeah? So the first tashhud and the second tashhud is sunnah. So 6 and 7, the first and second tashhud. 8 and 9, sitting for them. Yeah? Sitting for them is sunnah.
If you don't sit at all, then that's still a problem.
Well, if you don't sit, you've missed the tashhud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to come with 2 sajdas. Sah. That's what the sajda sahu is, because you've missed a sunnah.
That doesn't invalidate your
Yeah.
prayer.
Yeah.
So the first and the second tashhud.
Yeah.
So if you were on the process of standing up,
As long as your hands don't leave the ground, you can go back.
if your hands have and you've remembered,
You can't go back.
Okay.
You can't go back. You
Okay.
can't go back.
Okay.
Yes.
The tashhud in the Maliki madhab, it's different from the one in the
Yes.
Hanafi madhab.
Can you
Yes.
explain
Are we
that?
going to go through that? As in,
I'm not going to give you the tashhud. I can send you the tashhud. I can tell you where you can find it, and you can get the transliteration as well. Huh?
Oh, no, nothing.
Or isn't it a tahiyya?
Yes.
Are you going to say something about the finger?
Yes. If we get to it,
Yeah,
inshallah.
no, about that.
Inshallah. We will. Yeah. Okay. 10 is saying Sami Allahu liman hamida. When you rise up from the ruku, this is for the imam and the one praying on their own. Yeah? So only the imam will say Sami Allahu liman hamida, or the one praying on their own. Yeah? Yeah, go on, Nabi.
In some Jama'ah prayers, the mu'adhin repeats the takbir and the every other saying. Is that
There was a reason for it. The mics have, made them redundant.
okay?
The whole reason for the dikka was that someone would, because there wasn't any. There used to be someone with a loud voice, so people could hear.
So now in the Haram, they still do that.
I know they still do it. It's someone's job, someone's
So
livelihood.
he misses all the congregational prayers because he has to.
No. He
standing,
prays. He prays with them.
Oh.
He prays with them, but he repeats it out loud. But that was because it's tradition. They've got rid of so many other traditions. Why don't they get rid of that one?
Is it still a Maliki tradition to do that?
It's not a Maliki tradition. It's a tradition. It's a Muslim tradition. Yeah, mosques used to have them. Yes.
So in the case, for instance, sometimes mics do fail, and you're in a really big gathering. Women, we tend to have this, well, we don't hear the imam. How do you then judge going into ruku'?
You follow the people before you.
So you'd have to raise your eyes.
You have to.
Well, you're supposed to look ahead.
Oh, you're not supposed to look at the ground.
Oh,
You're not
yeah.
supposed to look at the ground.
Oh, yeah,
You missed that.
Sorry.
I'm not going to go back to that one.
So we look ahead.
We look ahead. We look ahead. Because God tells us to look. So we look.
Yeah, face the.
Yeah?
We'll be like that.
Okay. The one, praying on their own, they will say Sami Allahu liman hamida. The one leading the prayer will say Sami Allahu liman hamida. The one praying behind the Imam will say Allahumma Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Or Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah?
so that's separate as well. The Rabbana wa lakal hamd.
We'll come to that one.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Number 11.
Wait, what was number 10?
Sami
Sami
Allahu.
Allahu
Oh,
liman.
okay.
We just did that.
Oh, did I miss something? Okay, don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Number 11. The iqama for salah is a sunnah. Yeah. Malikis, this is more stressed than the adhan for us in our daily prayers. Because for each fard prayer, doesn't matter if it's in time or out of time, you will always say the iqama, male or female.
If you're on your own as well.
If you're praying on your own, if you're praying in Jama'at, it will be said.
So on your own, you do
Well,
that?
of course you do.
Really?
Yes.
Would you be able to do us a demonstration of the Iqamah?
So you can't just say Allahu Akbar and start?
No, you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar,
Oh, okay.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Hayya ala salati, Hayya ala falahi, Qad qamati salati, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, and you say Allahu Akbar.
Is it a bit loud or can it just be like?
It's always allowed, it's not.
Okay.
Yes.
Only for the fard prayer or prayer?
Only for fard prayer.
Not
Oh.
for sunnah.
Only for fard prayer. The Qad qamati salah is only once. It's not twice. Yeah.
So where did it come from? It being twice.
Oh God.
Just a history.
It's an arm long. The Prophet ﷺ instructed Bilal radiallahu anhu to give the adhan in twos and the iqamah in one, and that's what we take. Yeah. If a woman was to say the iqamah, silently, it would be fine. Yeah? It would be fine. But if she said it audibly, it would be fine.
So this is a stress.
Yeah? Number 12. The sajda is two hands, 2 knees, 2 feet. Is Asr in Birmingham. Yeah? So it's sunnah to put the hands, the palms, the knees, and the front of your toes. Yeah? On the ground. Pardon?
What if your calves touch the
Pardon?
So did you say toes?
Yeah, your toes.
Hands, palms, knees, and toes.
Toes, yeah.
If your calves touch the floor, is that alright? Just like
What do you mean calves?
like this, like
Yeah.
not the calves, the shins.
They shouldn't touch the ground.
Okay.
They shouldn't. Your toe. If you can't, bend your toes. Keep your toes straight.
Mm-hmm.
Your toes should, especially the thumb. The big toes. Yeah. Make sure your big toe, and then the other toes touch the ground.
Okay.
Your knees and your hands. These are sunnah. Yes.
Do you keep? I know this sounds so trivial, but do you keep your ankles together, or does it matter if they're apart? Because again, I've heard different things. For instance, for women, they should be kept as small as possible, or this might be from a different fiqh thing. So, for instance, when you're standing, have your feet together. We've been told not to spread them apart shoulder width.
Your feet.
Yeah. So when you're in sajda,
Yeah.
should your ankles be touching or not? Does that not matter?
It does not matter. The sunnah is that your your palms, your knees, and your toes are mubasharatan, touching the ground.
Is it better to keep your elbows off the ground or on the ground?
Your hands, your knees, and your toes should touch the ground. There is no difference between the prayer of a man and a woman.
Okay.
But if your elbows do touch the ground, is that all
They
right?
shouldn't touch the ground.
They shouldn't, okay.
They shouldn't. ever.
They should, yes.
Could you, Sheikh, just repeat number 12 because I'm slightly confused.
Number 12. Your palms, knees, and your toes should touch your ground for sajda.
It doesn't matter if this happens before because there's some confusion where somebody told me that your head has to come down first or something like that, or your hands, does that not matter? What comes down first? Some people actually put their head down first and then put their hands.
How do you put your head down first? They put their
That's
knees
gotta
down.
hurt, though.
No, your hands come down first. No. Look, your hands come down first. Yeah? And your knees. Well, hands, head, knees.
Okay.
Look.
Yeah, please do just demonstrate.
No,
He's gonna show.
look.
Demonstration.
Yeah?
Oh.
Hands, head, knees.
Oh, well, that's like.
A press up.
That's how you should be going.
Yeah, look, you're standing. Yeah? So your hand goes down. Yeah? Knees.
Knees and then head.
Head.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah?
That makes sense.
I'm actually going to say 1, 2, 3.
So your hands,
How do we do
yeah, hands,
Okay.
yeah, fingers together. Normal. You know how your hands are normal. Yeah? Normally how your hands are, that's it.
Oh, and
It's
coming
not
up, you
natural.
don't do this.
It's how you feel comfortable. You push yourself up.
Because some people make it.
No, it's not like, if you're going to do it, you make a fist.
Okay, so if you're going to do
Yeah, you're going to do it properly. It's actually, it's really good for strengthening the wrists.
Because I've noticed this again. I don't
So
know
what you do
why.
is you either do that or you do that. Whichever you do is fine. Yeah, that's well known. Then that.
Are you like to jump up?
Huh?
Jump up?
What do you mean? No, you push yourself up.
Yeah, like that.
No, you push because it's your hands that leave last. It's your hands that leave last. You push yourself up. Yeah? Now, when you're in sajda, you make dua. When you're in sajda, you make dua.
Is that number 13?
No, we're still on 12. You know the sajda is on. In sajda you make dua rather than dhikr. If you can combine both, it's good. Sidi Mayara has Subhanaka dhalamtu nafsi amaltu su'an faghfirli. You can say Subhanaka Rabbi. Yeah, there's a dua that the Prophet ﷺ taught Sayyidina Abu Bakr. It's a beautiful dua. Subhanaka Rabbi dhalamtu nafsi dhulman kathiran la yaghfiru dhunuba illa ant. It's beautiful. It combines both. Yeah, Subhanaka Rabbi dhalamtu nafsi dhulman kathiran la yaghfiru dhunuba illa ant.
Have you any other dua in your head?
Fine. But what it is, you strive, you do ijtihad for dua in sajda. You know the thing of making dua after. The school encourages you to make dua in prayer because that's what you're doing.
That's really good.
Yeah. So in sajda, in the tashahhud, the final tashahhud, that's where the dua should happen rather than outside of it.
And if you do du'as that are from the Quran, like the Rabbanas and stuff,
It's fine. If you know them, yeah, do them in sajda.
So it's okay because it's not like degrading.
No. When you're in sajda, that's when you ask. You're actually asking God. So ask in sajda.
So there's no specific dua in
No.
sajda for salah?
No.
Okay.
If you limit yourself to the dhikr, Subhana Rabbil al-Ala, the Imam prefers wa bihamdihi. Yeah.
Is that a sunnah or fard? Subhana Rabbil Ala.
The dhikr is. We'll come to it.
That's like something else, right?
We'll come to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to recite a dua from the Quran.
Because it's a dua. In sajda, it's not a problem. In a ruku is a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. In sajda, it's not a problem. Are we okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Number 13. That the one praying behind the Imam listens to the recitation of the Imam. Yeah. So when he recites aloud, you listen.
As in, don't follow.
No, you don't. You listen. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when the Quran is recited, listen. Yeah? So you listen. So that silence is for, the Fatiha and the Surah. Yeah? In the first two rakats, the Fatiha and the Surah. Now then, are we okay so far?
Yes.
14 is returning the salam of the Imam. Yeah? The second is a sunnah. Yeah? The second salam, not that salam, this salam. Straight.
Sorry, what?
I'm confused.
We'll come to it, don't worry. I will finish this confusion before we finish today.
Yeah, because right.
The first salam to end the prayer is a fard.
And you only
Yeah?
have to say that.
And then you return the salam, because Allah says when you are given a salam, you return it. So it's a sunnah to return the salam of the Imam.
So alaykum salam.
You can say that.
Okay, cool.
You have the option. You can say wa alaykum as-salam. Yeah? Or assalamu alaykum.
Even if they don't hear you, okay.
No, they should hear. It's audible, but not that audible.
Right,
Like shouting like,
Yeah. So what happened? The prayer to finish the salam to finish the prayer is your jaw. That literally moves there. Yeah.
oh.
No, not that. Literally there.
For the salam.
For the fard. Assalamu alaykum.
So you don't even move your whole.
No.
Oh, that's cool.
Kum.
Quite quick then.
Yeah. And then when because you're returning the salam of the Imam, you look straight towards the Imam. You say Assalamu alaykum. Yeah. Oh, alaykum assalam. Oh, salamun alaykum. They're all fine. Yes.
There was one. I read somewhere that the person who's praying behind the Imam has to say salam 3 times.
We're coming to that.
That's what
So when you're praying by yourself, you just say it once then?
Just once.
Who are you saying it to?
You're not saying it to no one. You're finishing your prayer.
And it's not recommended to do it again.
Huh?
Is it recommended to do it again?
What do you mean again? Where?
On the other side.
Why?
So what is
Just
we know that most people, when we do salam, we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. There's a difference in opinion, or not difference, but difference in practice when the Imam says Assalamu alaikum once, twice, then everybody says once, twice. Or some people do, the Imam does it once, you follow, then he says it the second time, you follow.
First salam is an obligation. Yeah? To say the salam once is an obligation. It finishes your prayer. Is to end the prayer. The second salam is a sunnah to return the salam of the Imam.
If
there's no Imam, if you're praying on your own, it's just once.
No one's told us there's no life.
So the second one that every other school does, is that
They're basing it on hadith.
They're basing it on hadith.
We're basing it on hadith and amal.
Okay. So we don't have to do this one to the left, essentially.
No.
A question on your personal practice, if you don't mind. If you're leading a group of non-Malikis,
I tell them before I begin. I tell them I only do one salam. I used to lead Jummah and people used to have problems, and this Somalian got up and he says the Prophet ﷺ said that takbir is the one that makes it haram and salam is the one that makes it halal. Is one takbir and one salam. And it was just silence.
Oh my god.
so you'd first explain to them.
Huh?
You'd first explain.
No, I did. Before I lead, I will tell them I only do one salam.
You tell them you do sadl as well.
Well, that's not their problem.
If you're praying,
I don't even realise it.
If you go to Pakistan, that's probably
No, it's not.
depending on where you
Doesn't matter. Where I go, I do so.
if you're praying behind an imam that does two salams, as soon as they say one salam, you can say salam.
No, once they say Assalamu alaikum, you say Assalamu alaikum.
You don't have to pause
And then you give
to
salam.
wait
Yeah.
for them to do the second.
It's good because you're following the imam. You follow their fiqh. You follow because you're following the imam. Yes.
Another question on your personal practice, if you don't mind. If you're following an imam who is not Maliki and he doesn't do sadl, he's doing qabd, do you follow him in that, or do you always do sadl?
I always do sadl. Wherever I go.
So, sorry, when a Maliki is leading the prayer, is it always going to be one salam?
If it's an eligible Maliki, it will be only one salam. Okay. 14. Have we done that? 15. The salam on the left. If there's someone on the left, is returning the salam for someone on the left. So in Jamaat, yeah? Assalamu alaikum, prayer's finished. Assalamu alaikum to the imam. Assalamu alaikum to whoever's there. Yeah? Is returning their salam. You end up 3 salam. That's the amal of Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar.
I know that's probably like a urban legend or something, but I always thought that we were saying salam to the angels. The one on the right.
So what about the one in front and the one behind and the one above and the one below?
I was just concerned with these two.
Why?
Recording.
Why? They call. So why don't you keep saying salam to them all the time? Why just in prayer?
You look crazy.
Why would you say salam?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
No, that's what I
No,
genuinely thought.
the salam is
We
to
always
finish
say
the
two,
prayer.
so
No, the salam is just erroneous understanding. The takbir begins the prayer. The salam ends the prayer.
And the salam that we are giving to end the prayer
Is to end the prayer.
is just
No, it's to end the prayer.
Okay,
That's it.
that's all it's.
That's all it
So
is.
if someone
And
comes in, they'll know. Okay, this is the end of
yeah,
the prayer.
and then if you prayed in Jamaat, you say the salam to the imam, and if there's someone on you,
So if you're by the wall, it's okay.
that's it. You just say straight, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. If there's someone on the left, Assalamu alaikum. And you don't turn like that. Yeah. You'll do your necking. Yeah. It's just Assalamu alaikum. It's literally your head moves, not your jawline. That's it.
I always get distracted when people tell me completely.
I've seen that.
Like an owl. Like
that. 16.
Okay. 16. The calmness, increase of stillness, being calm, being still, more than the obligatory. Because it's not obligatory to be calm and still, but to be more calm and still. Yes.
Question about that. Would you consider sadl to be, in fiqh terms, a form of calmness?
We're going to come to, after Asr, we will come to, the recommendations where sadl will be covered.
Okay.
Yeah. if you go to Sahih al-Bukhari, to the chapter of ruku' or not doing ruku' properly, you'll find a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ teaches prayer. Yeah, and if you can get a good translation, or if you're my friend, go to my notes, you'll find it on my notes. I do discuss that one. Yeah. Okay. Number 17 is a sutra. Now, do we know what a sutra is?
No.
Okay.
Is it what you put in front of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or is it when someone walks?
Yes. So it has to be that in height.
So a water bottle wouldn't be big enough.
No, that. It should stand on its own. Should not, be used, need something else to stand on. And it shouldn't be anything that will distract your attention. Pardon? What? You know what a sutra is? It's an object that you put in front of you when you're going to pray. So you know that people are going to pass in front of you.
Oh.
Yeah?
In terms of where it's put, obviously it's going to be put ahead of you, but
it should be, just
where your head.
Yeah, before that, so you're not hitting it.
Yeah, no, like ahead of you. So if somebody doesn't have a sutra and they pass in front of you, but beyond where your head reaches, would that count as them blocking?
The thing is that when Sheikh Abdul Hamid Al Mubarak from Saudi, he has an interesting take on this. He says that there's a lot made about it. He says that at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were literally hundreds of people praying and the space was small. Yeah. And what he's saying is that it was never a problem, because the Prophet ﷺ would go back into his house and they would move a step forward, rather than now people run to the back. They would step forward, so they would carry on reading their nafil. So as long as you can not distract them that distance, where I am and where that chair is, the last chair, that's enough distance to walk in front of someone.
Yeah, because some people, there's a
not walk right in front of them.
There's a hadith or I've come across or heard that if somebody tries to come in front of you, you must prevent them.
Yes.
And if they continue, then fight them. Although I'm not quite sure how that works.
That's amazing prayer, isn't it? You're fighting in prayer.
But I genuinely.
No. The hadith is there, by the way.
Yeah.
The hadith is there. You're supposed to put your fist out because the Prophet ﷺ said only shaitan becomes between you and your Lord.
And little children are spying.
We're going to come to that. Yeah. What you do is you don't put a child in front of you because he'll walk off or she'll walk off. Yeah. Someone attractive shouldn't be there. Yeah. A man or a woman. Yeah. They'll attract your attention. So an animal shouldn't be there. So something solid that will stay there. Ideally, find a pillar, walk, or somewhere private. The onus is on you to make sure that no one walks in front of you. It's not their fault; it's your fault. Yeah, this thing that it's their fault. No, it's your fault for praying where people are going to walk in front of you.
Yeah.
You've just got to make sure that the conversation that you're having, you're not having it in the middle of the road. So if people, you're having a conversation in the middle of the road and people are, passing right in front of you and in between you, whose fault is it? It's yours.
But in a cramped space.
You're in a mosque or something. It happens a lot. You finish and then some people have to go up
in front of you or...
Well,
I
know. You see, the problem is that we have a misunderstanding of the concept of nafil, because nafil were always prayed in private; they were not public. The public prayer was, the obligatory prayer. The nafil prayer was, at home. on your own, between you and your Lord.
The sunnah
Like the
prayers.
Tarawih.
We're going to come to it, inshallah. Yeah? Okay. 17. We've done the sutra. No, 7. 17 was sutra.
18.
18. Now, this is I'm going to stop at 21. We'll do 21. 22 is going to take a bit of time. We'll pray Asr and come back. So 18 is, you know, the salam that you finish the prayer with should be a bit loud so people know that you're finishing your prayer. So Assalamu alaikum. Yeah? Just as when you begin the prayer, you know, the fard prayer, people should know that you're beginning the fard prayer. It's always Allahu Akbar. Yeah? Allahu Akbar. A bit loud. So people know it's a fard prayer that's being prayed. And when you're finishing, people know that you're finishing the fard prayer. Just the salam that finishes the prayer. And this is, you know, for everyone. Imam, individual, and the one praying behind. Number 19, the wording of the tashahhud. Yeah? Now, the school prefers the wording of the tashahhud of Sayyidina Umar radhiyallahu anhu. The reason why is he sat on the minbar of the Prophet ﷺ and taught it to the whole mosque. And no companion got up and said, Umar, you got it wrong.
Sorry, could you repeat just the first part?
Right. The tashahhud, the wording of the tashahhud is that of Sayyidina Umar. التحيات لله وزكيات لله وطيبات صلوات لله السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته والسلام علينا ولا عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله.
If you don't know that one until you
If you know the Hanafi one, that is fine.
Until you learn.
Yeah. No, this is the word that the school prefers.
So you can use the other ones.
You can use the other one. I would recommend that you learn this one.
Is it on Google?
It's on Google. Go to the Muwatta of Imam Malik. Aisha Biuli's translation has a transliteration of it. Yes.
Is there a minimum thing that you have to say in your tashahhud? I probably missed this, but is there
No. We're talking about the tashahhud. We're not talking about the dua. We're talking about the tashahhud. This is the tashahhud. You know the wording that the one that I just said.
Yeah.
That's the one that you say in the first sitting and the last sitting.
And this is considered a sunnah anyway. So if you
No, this is a sunnah.
Yeah. So
The
if
tashahhud is a sunnah.
If it's something that's omitted, there's not like a minimum saying for the tashahhud.
Oh, you're talking about the addition. We'll come to that in a minute. The sunnah is the tashahhud.
What's her name? Aisha?
Beauty.
Beauty.
You could say,
al-Wahid.
No. Don't add. This is the thing that, you know, we're Malikis, we're sticklers with this. You know, when it comes to fard prayer, yeah? With the nafil, we'll let you do whatever you want. But with the fard, you have to stick to the one that the Prophet ﷺ taught. Yeah? The Prophet ﷺ taught Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasul. That's it. Yeah? 19. What was it? 19. 20. The salawat. Yeah? The salawat are Salatul Nabi. After the tashahhud. This is in the second tashahhud. Yeah? It's a sunnah. Now, ideally, you know, our fatwa books say AUC, like you know, whatever formula, but the preferred, the sunnah, is that of, you know, taught by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, the Ibrahimiyya. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallayt. Huh?
You don't say Sayyidina?
We don't say Sayyidina.
Okay.
Yeah, if you learn Sayyidina, I'm not going to tell you to unlearn Sayyidina. One of my teacher wrote a whole work on adding Sayyidina, but we go by the madhab. We stick to what the Prophet ﷺ taught in the fard. Yeah. So whatever formula is fine, but the one that the Prophet ﷺ taught is the best.
Do you do any salawat?
You could. It's not because the sunnah is to do salawat. Yeah. You'll find that the recommendation is that you do of Sayyidina Ibrahim.
So at least in the fard prayer one should.
No. In the fard prayer you have to do salawat al Nabi. The sunnah. Yeah. If you miss it, you don't do sajda sahwi.
Is there any other recommended things to do if you finished the salawat and the imam is still going on?
Go to the Risala of Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani. If you go to the Risala of Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani, is the best du'as that you will come across. Yeah? Because he gives you literally, your aqidah and du'as, everything sham.
What was the name, sorry?
Ibn Zayd
Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani. It's I can never say it without waggling my finger. You got used. So his is At-Tahiyatu lillahi wa zakiyatu lillahi wa tayyibatu salawatu lillahi assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin ashhadu anna alladhi jaa bihi muhammadan haqqan wa jannata haqqan wa nara haqqan wa sa'ata haqqan wa sa'ata atayta la rayba anna allaha yabathu man fil qubur اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم صل على ملائكتك والمقربين والأنبياء والمرسلين وأهل طاعتك أجمعين اللهم صل على what is it? I've forgotten it now. No, it's what you'll find is it's really comprehensive.
Yeah, I found it.
No, because اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وارحم والدينا وازواجنا وذرياتنا وامهاتنا واخواننا الذين سبقونا بالايمان مغفرة عظما اللهم انا نسالك كل خير سالك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وبعدك الصالحون ونعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وبعدك الصالحون اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا ما اخرنا ما اسررنا ما اعلنا انت عالم به منا ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الاخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم أعوذ بك من فتنة عذاب القبر ومحيا وممات ومسيح الدجال السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته والسلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم. That's Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani, and that's what you get. Majority of people who've learned the Risala of Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani, that's the tashahhud, that's the last tashahhud.
So can you say one more time?
No, what's his name?
Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani.
Abi Zayd.
Yeah, Risala Abi Zayd al-Qayrawani. Yeah? Okay.
But isn't that adding?
What do you mean, adding?
You said don't add to what the Prophet ﷺ taught.
No, these are all traced to Abdullah bin Umar.
Okay.
They're all traced. Sayyid Ahmad bin Siddiq al-Ghumari traced all the ahadith of the Risala of Sayyid al-Qayrawani. Okay, final one before we break for Asr. Then we'll come back and talk about Qasr, shortening the prayer, because that's Sunnah. The Adhan. Yeah? Now, the Adhan is only for mosques. Yeah? The Adhan is to call people to the Jamaat.
Salawat in the second day.
Yeah? This is Sunnah 21 of prayer. It is the Adhan to call people to the mosque for Jamaat. Yeah? you do not, if you are not calling people to the Jamaat, for instance, us here, no adhan. Yeah? It is only to call people to. So if you are on your own, you will not say the adhan. If you're traveling, you will not say the adhan. If you are not calling people to a Jamaat, you will not call the adhan. The mosques must give the adhan.